Everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSIDFS Fantasy NASCAR Picks. I'm your host, Mike Guerrero 31. Happy Memorial Day weekend. Everyone's just having a good one. A little bit disappointing yesterday. The Xfinity race was rained out, but kind of good because I'd rather have it on Monday when it looks like it's going to be dry there versus trying to start it, stop it, only get half of it, and somebody win it that really didn't deserve it. So just be patient. I think DK might have set the record for the most locks and unlocks in a contest ever. But we have the Cup race today, and hopefully the rain will be over and things will be dry. And, they can't really run a wet package here. And to dry the track, being a mile and a half, it's a lot longer than if they had like a short track and are trying to dry that out. So let's pull up the radar quickly and see what it's going to look like. Well, rain drops off to like about 60% and then into the 50s. So they might be able to get this in. It might end up, as people joke, being the Coca-Cola 301, where they just go one more lap than the minimum, but hopefully not. So anyway, so let's look at the field and get your breakdown here for you. So there was no practice or qualifying. So I used some of the data I used for the Truck Series and for Xfinity. So to Charlotte 22, Kansas and Vegas are similar tracks. All the tire wear tracks that are low on 1.5 miles. So that would be Charlotte, Kansas, Vegas, and Texas. And then kind of figure that out by formula. Plus, their season and their track average. So William Byron, I think he's going to be the highest owned one. He was very good, won Vegas. Charlotte and Kansas, not as good. He's had 6 races here. His average tracks finish is 19th. So I don't know him as a prime play and just a cash play. I think he'll get out there and do well, but he just seems to fade after initially. And with the rain and no practice, he'll probably have a competition caution, which helps the field catch up to him. And he can't really go out there and dominate a ton of laps. He might be able to do it, but I'm not 100% positive he will. So I think he's going to be highly owned. I think he's a great play, but I don't think he's like an absolute lock. Harvick and Keselowski are up here. They qualified. Well, they didn't qualify well, but they qualified well due to how they raced last week on a short track. I don't think they're as good here. Their pricing's decent, and definitely, if you're playing multi-entry, sprinkle them in. Could they get out there and dominate early? Yes, potentially. Could they stay out there the whole race? Possibly, but their average track finishes are also in the 14s here. So they don't really pop as somebody that, I really, really like, but I think in a GPP, they're definitely good. Denny Hamlin here, really like this play also. He is the #1 ranking straight across the board here. Top 7 in average running position in all the track styles and everything. Led laps here. It's been really good in this package, and he won Kansas. So I think that he's definitely in play. Also, if you can get Byron and Hamlin in a lineup, then that might be cool also. But there's another person in a prime that's pretty high that we're going to talk about in a little bit here that I don't know if you can get all 3 of them in like the rest of your lineup, but maybe it's possible. But I don't know if it's a cash play to play all 3 of those. So I think Denny Hamlin definitely is cash play. Byron is definitely a cash play. Busch and Elliott, both GPPs here, similar in price, similar in the fact that they both have had success here, but both recently haven't. Either one of them could potentially have a breakout race. I kind of feeling for Kyle Busch here. I think that, I'm going to put some money down for him to win this race. I just got a feeling that just one of those weird races that he might actually break through and actually have a good race car and a good track, but probably not, because he usually thrives when you have practice, because he's like the one that gets to adjust it. But there's 600 laps here, so a lot of time if they run the full race, to be able to adjust it, but the rain, maybe not. I don't know. Funny feeling here. I'm playing him a cash. He'll be probably one of the first guys in my GPP lineup, and I'll play Elliott in some GPP also. Bubba Wallace, I really like here. Bubba Wallace has had 3 straight top fives, and 6 out of the last 7 races. Well, the 7th one was like a 24. He has had a top 12 finish. He is actually in really good form and been driving really well. Last year, Charlotte, not great, but if you look at the 23 one, top 12 here for Kansas and for Vegas. So gotta kind of look past like all the track things where he's like never finished in the top 10 here in 26 overall. I think a lot of people are going to overlook at him. I'm looking at Bubba's current form. If you're looking at Bubba's track history, I completely understand it. Then he's a GPP player, maybe even a fade starting this high up. But looking at his current form, I think he's a good cash play here. Blaney and Bell, both of them have had success this season, but I don't know if this is the style of track that I really love him on. My model kind of likes Blaney here. He comes back 6th in the composite average, but in 12 races, only 3 top 10s here, average finish 19th, and he's wrecked a quarter of them. So I'm not so sure that I really like him. That's why I miss GPP. The same thing with Bell. Like Bell he's a Jekyll and Hyde driver also, where he can just come alive on some tracks and really struggle on other tracks. And the Toyotas haven't been super fast compared to the Chevys. And so I don't know. I think I don't know if I'm going to have any shares of him, but I think it's GPP. Stenhouse is a fade here, and Busher potentially also. I think they're both starting way too far forward here. You're looking at, and Stenhouse like a 16th overall finish here in 18 races, which isn't bad for him, and only 5% DNF rate, 15th overall. So I think he's starting a little far forward for me. Busher too just hasn't really been super fast in this Ford. Not that I like him better on like a high tire wear tracks, not low tire wear tracks. So GPP to fade. Kyle Larson, I think he's where you need to start your lineup here. Just 2nd overall to Hamlin in all the matrix here. 13 races here, 1 win, 6 top 10s. I know he's got a 23% DNF rate, but I'm not really worried about that because he was in some really bad equipment early on in his career. But in current form and everything, Kansas, Vegas, was really close to Byron there, finished 2nd to Hamlin in Kansas. So I definitely got to lock him in and then probably play either Hamlin or Byron with him. I said if you can get all 3 in, I haven't tried mathematically to see what the rest of my lineup looks like for that. But, if I'm playing like BJ McLeod and JJ Yaley and, then that's not what I'm looking to do for my lineup, especially in cash. Harrison Burton's always going to be a fade here. Heard that he might end up in the 10 next year. I can't believe that. I thought he ended up back in Xfinity. The 10 would become like a promotion for him. I don't get it, but I did hear potentially like some names like Zane Smith and stuff moving into this 21 car, and that would actually be a really good thing. I'd enjoy seeing that. But we'll have to see. But he's a fade for this race. Not interested there. Ross Chastain, he's always going to be GPP for me. I like that he's got some place differential here. These tracks overall, he's 22nd in average, but if you look at him individually, last year Charlotte, average running position of 4, Kansas, he's definitely in the top 10 for these. But in 5 races here, he's led some laps, but his average finish is 26th. So again, he's just too volatile. He's just taking too many chances. And until I see consistency of him actually going out there and racing and not wrecking people, then I'm not going to be playing him in cash. I probably will have he and either Kyle Busch or Chase Elliott to start out my GPP lineups. Reddick, I runs different lines. You can find different lines here on this track. They did put down that compound so that there are different grooves here. And in the truck race, we saw them 3-4 wide, especially on restarts. So I think that bodes well for him. Look at the numbers: 8th overall, 9th average finish here, 3 top 10s in 4 races, finished all the races. So everything points to Tyler Reddick being a decent play here. Justin Haley GPP, I think he's starting too high up here. He's 30th overall in composite average, 27 overall finish here. So the formula got him to this place, not as qualifying in practice time. So GPP to fade. Logano, I think you can play him as cash. There is some place differential here. He's 4th overall. I think Truex the same thing. Both these guys look, really good from where they're starting here after having some struggles last week and the formula putting them in these positions. Both of them are definitely probably top 15, if not top 10. It all depends on how they do with dirty air. But again, this track you can fan out and spread out on restarts, and it is easier to pass. So I think both of them are definitely in play. And if you want to start like a contrarian lineup and go kind of balanced and not knowing like what's going to happen with the rain and the competition cost and everything, if you want to start with these two guys in your lineup and build from there, then that probably more of a GPP build, but it could be a decent one if both do well. Ty Gibbs also really like him here. He's starting to round into form, starting to figure things out. The most of his status is Xfinity data, so it's going to be kind of skewed. But in cup wise, 18th overall. So starting 19th, I think he's definitely a top 15 driver here. Maybe can get into the top 10. So keep an eye on him. Briscoe and Cindric, not super interested in here. GPP, if last guy in your lineup, that's fine. Nothing really pops here, even though, Briscoe's has in 2 races, has won top 10 and 13th overall, which is decent. Ran well in Charlotte last year, but in Kansas and Vegas this year have not been good. So it's looked like some regression there. So these guys are GPP. Ryan Preece is a fade. He's just been really slow and starting way too far forward. Almirola, this is not his track style. Like him better on flat, shorter tracks. So it's a GPP. Suarez and LaJoy, I think you can play these both guys in cash. LaJoy starting a little bit further forward, but at 5,500, I think he's okay if he can finish in the top 25. I think you're perfectly fine there. Suarez just hadn't had the speed as last year with this Trackhouse program, but I think he's definitely a top 20 car, and most of the metrics point to that. So I think you can play him in cash, and I think he'll be quite popular down here with the place differential on his price point. Eric Jones is my prime play here. Again, same thing as Suarez, just hadn't had the speed he's shown last year. These Legacy Motor Club cars just haven't been able to figure it out this year. But I don't think he's a 26th place car. I think he can get up into the top 20. There's only one top 10 here, but 18th overall finish. So I'll take my chances on him compared to some of the other ones down here. Allmendinger I like also. I just like Jones a little bit better. But, with $100 price difference, I think you can play both of them if you're trying to get multiple 10K or Larson 11K in your lineup. Noah Grayson at GPP just finds trouble here a lot in Cup, just hasn't really put it together. He and Gibbs came up with a lot of potential, and I think Gibbs is starting to put it together faster than Grayson. I think will come, but this Legacy Motor Club program really just hasn't done him any favors. So not super excited. Zane Smith is in the 38 here. That's usually driven by Gillian. So I think he's very talented. He's very solid. I know he wrecked in the truck race, but in truck races that he's like 6th overall in tire wear tracks like this, but his overall he's been 28th finish in the couple of cup races that he's run. I think you still play him in cash down here because I think he can finish in the top 30 at 5,400. Michael McDowell, I think, is a little bit of a better play, more seasoned driver. Again, probably top 25 is up to 25th is probably his ceiling. It's not like he's better on super speedways and some short tracks. So, but I think you can play him here. Alex Bowman, I think you can lock him here. The injury's healed. He's perfectly fine. I know they'll have Barry on standby just in case, but I don't mind Barry in this car either. He's got to be a prime play here. He definitely probably can work his way up through the field, and could he win the race? Possibly. We've seen Alex Bowman strike out of nowhere and be in the position at the end when chaos happens to pull ahead and take the victory. So I think he's going to be back. He's definitely not a 31 place car, and I definitely think he can advance through the field, have a good day. And at 8,600, the price is phenomenal. Ty Dillon's a GPP to a fade here, just not a great tech, sound car. Austin Dillon, I think he'll be very popular too at 7,200. A lot of place differential. It's been disappointing this year, so I don't know. I don't expect him to get to the top 10, but he should get to the top 20, top 15. BJ McLeod, Gillian in this car, and JJ Yelly are GPPs to fade for me. I know there's place differential there, but these guys could end up multiple laps down or not even finishing a 600 lap race with the quality of their car. And I know Jimmy Johnson starting down here is going to be super popular, but he's a GPP for me. I know there's a lot of place differential, but this 84 Legacy car is their third car in a marginal team, and there's not like it's going to be any like favors to him to put together a hot rod for him to go out there and do well. He hasn't raced, I don't believe, since Daytona, where he finished like 35th or something like that. So he's just, we saw like Ryan Newman come back for a couple of races and in bad equipment in the 51. So I'm not expecting much from Jimmy Johnson here, but I will probably have him in my GPP lineup with Chastain and either Busch or Elliott. So that's what I got for you. Hope you have a great Memorial Day weekend. Hopefully this race does go off, and maybe we'll have a double header on Memorial Day if they can't get it in. So if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat below. Hit me up at MegaRuler31 on Twitter. If you want more information on FSIDFS, or you want to subscribe to our package for NASCAR, it's only $5 a week, $15 a month. You can find the information in the description of the video. And if these videos are helpful to you, as always, you can subscribe to our channel so you know when the videos are coming out. Please like them to help us back and share with your friends. So thanks for watching. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. Thank you for everybody who fought for our freedom to be able to live in a country like this. And good luck in your contest. Enjoy the weekend. Be safe, and I'll see you next time.